6 Strangest People in History. 1. Timothy Dexter, the self-styled Lord. Dexter was an 18th century American businessman, but he called himself Lord Timothy Dexter. He once invested all his money in discontinued dollars. Then he decided to sell bed warming pans in the West Indies. Dexter rebranded them as ladles. He sold them to sugar and molasses plantation owners. Oddly, his business decisions paid off. Dexter faked his own death and hosted a grand funeral. He just wanted to see how people would react. Then he punished his wife for not crying. 2. Henry Cyril Paget, the dancing Marquis. In 1902, Paget became 5th Marquis of Anglesey. He wore robes encrusted with diamonds and sapphires. His cars were modified with gems and precious metals. They emitted perfume instead of exhaust. Paget often carried his dyed pink poodle around. He was obsessed with photos of himself. He allegedly treated his wife like a doll. He requested she model expensive gems on her naked body for him. He only looked at her and never touched. Paget went bankrupt and died of tuberculosis at 29. 3. Hetty Green, the Witch of Wall Street. Green was the richest woman in America, but she was miserly to the point of absurdity. Green amassed $1 billion in equity in commodities trading. She never spent money on an office. She conducted business sitting on the floor of her bank. Green took detours to mislead her imaginary stalkers. She returned a 10-cent broom when its bristles wore out. She tried to fix her son's broken leg herself. Disguised as a pauper, she tried to get him into a free clinic. The leg became infected and had to be amputated. Only then did Green finally consent to pay for medical care. 4. Karl Tanzler, the macabre lover. Tanzler called himself Count Karl von Kassel. He was a German-born American radiologist with a strange obsession. His patient, Maria Elena Milagro de Hoyos, died of tuberculosis. He visited her body every night for 2 years. Then he stole it from the tomb. Tanzler took Elena's body home. He used plaster of Paris and glass eyes to fix her face. He stabilized the skeleton with coat hangers and wires. He stuffed the torso full of rags to retain its normal shape. Then he added wax to the face to keep it intact. Tanzler lived with Elena's body for 7 years. He was arrested for grave robbing, but charges were later dropped. Elena's body was put on display. 5. Diogenes, the homeless philosopher. Diogenes was an ancient Greek thinker. He threw away all his possessions. He left only some rags to hide his nakedness. He also kept a wooden bowl for food and drink. Diogenes often sat in on Plato's classes. He ate as loudly as he could to disrupt the lectures. He shared the scraps with stray dogs that followed him everywhere. He relieved himself whenever and wherever he felt like it. Once Alexander the Great asked Diogenes if he could do anything for him.
You could move out of my light.
Diogenes replied. 6. Lord Byron, the master of the bizarre. Byron was a prominent 19th century English poet. He really loved his dog, a Newfoundland called Bosun, but he was told he couldn't keep a dog at Trinity College. However, there was nothing in the rules about bears, so Byron brought a bear to Cambridge. Byron also rewrote the Bible with better stories. He kept 5 peacocks, 2 guinea hens, and an Egyptian's crane in his home. Byron insisted that they were reincarnated souls. Then he sold off his estate and gave the money away in Greece. He intended to fight for Greek independence. Byron had 0 military experience. He died before seeing a single battle.